competitive gaming has been present since the earliest days of arcade play. People forming around favorite titles, sharing top scores, competing against each other. When personal computers came on the scene and those became popular, people started going to LAN parties, local area network parties, to play and compete face to face. When we get the internet, of course, that changes everything because people can now start competing with people they've never met before. What happens then is that there's business people who are interested in seeing if they can also make some money off of that scene. So coming in and starting more formal tournaments, formal organizations that run year to year. Despite having now been around for several decades, it's still in very early days. It's still trying to figure out its economic models. It's still sorting out the broadcast model. It's still trying to figure out what spectatorship means and how to bring more people into it. So I think for me, that's one of the really important stories of esports is what does it mean to turn something that we mostly think of as an object of leisure into something you're professionally passionate about and are dedicating lots of time, hard work, and energy to.
C'est juste une petite dédicace à tout le monde qui nous supporte. Merci.
When it comes to esports right now, there are 4 major genres. First up, you have your shooters, Counter-Strike, Halo, Call of Duty, you have those. Next up is the fighting games that have been around for the longest. Street Fighter, Tekken, BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, things like that. Then you have real-time strategy, which is really the basis of esports where it is today. It started off with the original StarCraft, now we went over to StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, Command & Conquer, a lot of games in the genre. And then finally is MOBAs, the multiplayer online battle arenas. This is your League of Legends, Dota, Dota 2, Heroes of War, Smite. Shooters and MOBAs are more the team-oriented games. You have a group of guys, 3, 4, 5 people depending on the game, and they really work on team coordination, teamwork for some sort of goal. For shooters, it's usually capturing bases or getting tons of kills. For the MOBAs, it's go and destroy the enemy's base. The real-time strategy games and the fighting games are more of the 1v1 situations. RTS games, you command little armies, try to destroy your enemy's base, just 1v1. Same thing with the fighters. You have a health bar, your goal, just get that thing to 0. I think a lot of the misconceptions about esports carried over from misconceptions about video games, how it's a waste of time, when in reality you can make quite a bit of money off of this, and in some parts of the world can really open huge career paths for you.
Right now, there are hundreds of esports tournaments every year worldwide, and they're organized in a range of ways. There are some very polished professional leagues. There are also game developers who run events themselves, all the way down to volunteer organizations who are doing small local tournaments in their communities. So there's a pretty broad spectrum. At tournaments, spectators energize in the same way they do at traditional sporting events. When I talk to esports fans, they often compare their esports fandom to their fandom of a traditional sport, whether it's soccer or basketball. So it means we've got to figure out how to bring all these other people into what is essentially a one-to-one space. And so over the years, there have been lots of different ways of doing this. Broadcast modules and games, putting a big screen up in a room so that people can all sort of watch one player's perspective. One of the most interesting things that's happened in the last couple of years is the growth of live streaming, where people are broadcasting tournaments, matches, or even practice time over the internet onto channels that lots of people can spectate at once. So it's a big challenge how to let tens of thousands of people get into that space of digital play, the digital playing field.
So save us.
Asian powerhouse. First off, Team Bob Premier for the 5-day assignment.
Right now, the model is around advertising as a predominant form of support. It's one of the most fragile parts of the scene in many ways because it's still trying to find the best way to make it sustainable.
Every progressive year has been the biggest year for esports. Viewership keeps going up. The number of pros keeps going up. Prize money keeps going up. It's a huge growing industry.